Another Saturday, another home game, but this time things are a little bit different. There's a few of you, as you can see, in to join us. Carlisle United are the visitors to St James's Park this afternoon. Coming up on today's show, the manager Matt Taylor and defender Jack Sparks give their thoughts on the game. Jake Taylor answers your questions, and Will Barrett takes a look back in time at historic clashes with Carlisle. But first, let's take a look back at Tuesday night's game at Orient.
Towards the edge of the 18-yard box, but not delve into it. Come back here for Jay though, on the edge of the area. Stinger that eventually drops down Williams' feet. The ball into the channel. Start to push forward after being dominated in the early going. Drew gives it inside. Back out once more to the number 10. It's a lovely ball towards the back post. It's a very simple finish for Wilkinson. Totally against the run of play in the first 4 minutes, but Connor well, one in the heart of the pitch. There's a few bodies starting to flood forward now. Drew cutting inside. Played provider earlier, fancy to go himself. That one's not too far away. Jay, straight back the other way, come the Grecians. It's a lovely ball into the channel. Perfectly paced for Key, who pulls it back. Fine stop. To create more space. Murphy feeding it inside. Wasn't far away either from Maguire. It's a good ball in, it had to be punched away. The keeper is just about a match to it. It's a deep one that hits the crossbar. Collins has to go back before Exeter can come forward. Plenty of bodies in the box to aim at. That's a lovely finish. 2 minutes after the restart, Jake Taylor slots it home. The captain delivers. A goal against one of his former clubs, and it's a very neat and tidy finish indeed. Hasn't been too much between these two sides. Errors could be costly. Jay able to intercept. Again, there are plenty getting forward. It flashes wide of the target from Key. Drew taking on his man, cutting inside onto that left peg. It's another good ball, and once more he just can't find Dennis. Collins just waiting on the edge of the 18-yard box. He's used again. Delicate dink into the middle. A free effort at the far post. Play. That is the full-time whistle. A point apiece for Leyton Orient and Exeter City.
Carlisle United are 5 unbeaten in League 2. Exeter City are 7 unbeaten in League 2. It's going to be a tough game, so let's hear what the men who really matter think. Here is defender Jack Sparks, but first, the gaffer himself.
They're fourth in the table, a point ahead of us, and on a good run themselves. A game I'm really looking forward to. You talk about how you measure yourselves at different stages throughout the season. I think it's our 10th game, and we're playing against a team above us in the table. So, you know, nothing to lose at the weekend, all to gain. Like I say, the longer the season goes on, the more you look at games against teams in and around you in the table. And that sounds strange when it's 10 games in, but you know, you're not a million miles away from the quarter of the way through the season. It's a game we want to win. It's a game we're capable of winning. We've got full respect for Carlisle, but a game the players are prepared for.
Carlisle United scored 2 goals inside the first 3 minutes against Morecambe on Tuesday, and you were worried about how City started the game against Orient. Is that something that you've really drilled into the players about how we have to be better when we start?
Not really, no. We had the first chance in that game. MJ shot against the keeper. That goes in, and everyone says we start the game better than the opposition. We conceded early, which was disappointing from our point of view. Opposition are allowed to score against us, but it's just happened too often where they've scored the first goal against us. So we were aware of Carlisle's start on Tuesday. Our focus is on how we start the game. Like I said, I just want us to be aggressive, and people can use that word in any way they want, but aggressive in terms of players' responsibility against the opposition, aggressive in terms of our mindset to get to that ball first and affect it, and also aggressive with our shape and our discipline to affect the opposition and put them under pressure. Like I say, we had the first chance of the game on Tuesday, so we weren't a million miles off starting that game really well, but when the opposition score, it puts you on the back foot and it changes the feeling of the game. Great response from the lads to get through the rest of that first half without them really troubling our new keeper, and then dominated the second half. And you know, you look back at it, we were close to getting a winner, but not quite close enough.
Games with Carlisle are rarely uneventful. Obviously, we had the 2017 playoff campaign. Obviously, Carlisle were the first team you faced as manager as well.
Oh, yeah, I mean, two teams who've probably been in the division a fair amount of time now. You look back and you think back to those semi-finals in the playoffs, two memorable games, and then we played each other. Well, it's not a lot because it's the normal league campaign, but we're familiar with Carlisle. But we're not familiar with a group of players because they've invested and recruited 16 new signings. So it'll be a different dynamic to the opposition, a different dynamic to Carlisle, and they've started the season well on a good run themselves, and have got some. We always say it, but they've got some good players who can hurt you on their day. But we're at home. I want us to set our standards this weekend, dominate from minute one in terms of how we want the game to look like and to play and to feel. That was what I spoke to about the players at half time, and make it our type of game. We've got to make this game our type of game from minute one, and that's what we'll be aiming to do. And hopefully we come out on top. Like I say, it'll be an early marker in terms of two teams close to the top six.
It'll be a tough game, like every game in League Two. I think they're a strong side, obviously. The previous times we have played them, they've been tough games. So yeah, I think we've got to be us and start on the front foot. And hopefully we'll come out with the 3 points.
We come into the game having played Leyton Orient on Tuesday in a game where you look pretty comfortable in position. Were you pleased with how that one went personally and as a team?
Personally, yeah. I mean, I didn't think it was the best game I've played. A few things I could have tightened up on. So personally, it wasn't my best game. But as a team, I thought we were quite solid. We started on the front foot in the second half. Which gave us a good platform to kind of end the game with. But yeah, we created chances. Josh had a good chance. Watching on another day, that'll kind of go in and we pick up the 3 points.
I want to talk to you now about Lewis Page, who at the start of the season, he was the favoured left-sided player there. But obviously, unfortunately, he's got that injury now, which has given you the chance. Are you quite happy that you've had to battle for a place? Because I mean, he's such an experienced player, whereas you're sort of into your second season.
Yeah, I'm happy. Matty said at the start of pre-season, he's going to get in another left-sided player similar to my position, which gave me good competition to try and earn a place this first game of the season. So yeah, I think obviously he's a quality player. Proven that this season. One player of the month was it in October. So yeah, I think competition's great. It only drives me on. It will probably drive him on as well. And I say fortunately that's football.
But I mean, you made quite a statement against Scunthorpe. He was brought off injured. You came on, and within a few minutes you got an assist to make it 2-0. So
yeah, it was a bit of a lucky assist. The keeper hands it to me on a plate, but I think I'll claim it.
Is that what we can expect from you this season? Is you're going to have the freedom to get forward and play more as a wing back rather than just a defender? Is that something you really look forward to doing?
Yeah, I think my game's delivery, putting in crosses, trying to get assists. So I get forward as much as I possibly can. But as a defender, and when I'm playing in a 4, I think my main task in the game is to defend, and anything that comes on top of that is brilliant.
Where were you when Jack Stacey scored that goal in that net? I think it's only fair we take a look back at that cracker against Carlisle in the playoff semi-finals of 2017. It's time for everyone's favourite bit of park life with the man who's growing in popularity by the day. Here is another pitch update with Chaz.
Yeah, it's not looking too clever. It's looking okay for the game, but right up to the game might be a bit wet with heavy rain forecast, sort of about dawn, which will probably affect our preparation for what would be a normal day. So topic of conversation over breakfast this morning was what we're going to do, and we'll do our very best to make it the best we can possibly make it. We're just about to cut it and probably mark it out today, so I think that'll dry on. Bit of a risk that if it doesn't, tomorrow's cut's going to be a bit dodgy, but we've got to give it our best shot because we want it to look the best it can. And the last game I marked out prior to the game, which I'm glad I did, because when I marked out just before the game, that just washed out. So that's why the white line didn't look too clever, or as nice as we'd liked it to have looked. Yeah.
What I want to know is, I can see sort of a green cone thing sticking up there. Can you just explain what that is?
Okay, that's a rain gauge. Obviously you can get the rainfall amounts off local weather stations, but we like to do our own, and we basically monitor it every day, and that gives us a good idea as to how much rain the surface has taken, and will affect the decisions we make on how we're going to maintain it and look after it and get it ready for certain games. More important, running up to a game, especially if you have heavy rain overnight, you're not quite sure how much has fallen. Just gives us pointers as to what we can realistically expect, and obviously I can then advise the coaches on the match day as to what they can expect from the surface, which hopefully adds to our bit of input into getting the 3 points on match day.
This is the substitute, Alex Fisher!
And they've pickpocketed them here. It's Joel Randall, and it
comes out here for a fine effort and a fine goal from Harry Kite.
Pressure off the ball from the visitors. And now there's another chance here to find the equaliser, and this time it is tucked in by Matt J.
Now it's time to hear from club historian Will Barrett as he rewinds the clocks to look back at some memorable and historical clashes with the side from Cumbria.
City go into this afternoon's game on the back of a good run of form, having extended our unbeaten run with the 1-1 draw at Leyton Orient on Tuesday. Our opponents are also on a decent run of their own, and looking at the form tables, City and Carlisle are the only sides in Sky Bet League 2 not to have lost in the last 6 games. Looking further at the historic record, the two sides have met in the league on 61 occasions, with City's record being 25 wins, 17 draws and 19 defeats. Of course, it would be mad not to look back at the 2016-17 season when the two sides exchanged a total of 21 goals across 4 exciting matches. A 3-2 defeat away to Carlisle in November 2016 left City right down at the bottom end of the table, but come May the 18th, Jack Stacey's goal flipped the scorelines and sent City on their way to Wembley with a dramatic 3-2 win of their own. Last season's visit was another goal-laden encounter with goals from the two Martins and Nicky Law's stoppage time finish, earning City a 3-1 win. Both historic and recent forms suggest that we could have an unpredictable afternoon on our hands, so do make sure that you're tuned in via iFollow to follow all the action.
City fans, it's time to get on your City shirts and go for a run. The virtual Football Shirt Charity Run 2020 takes place between now and December, and we want as many City fans involved as possible. All you need to do is run just 5 kilometres while raising money for brilliant charities such as Cancer Research UK's Bobby Moore Fund and Sebastian's Action. And there's even a chance to get Exeter City to the top of the leaderboard, with clubs across the country taking part. Just 5 City fans are needed to top the leaderboard, and thanks to the guys over at the terrace, one lucky supporter is in with a chance of winning a signed squad shirt as well. All you need to do is follow the links on our club website, and we'll put them in the description below. I'm off for a run.
We are a team that like to play football. I think there are a lot of sort of speculation about women's football and what to expect and stuff, but I think you're not going to know until you come and watch. And I think we are a team that like to keep the ball and play with possession. We like to play out from the back. Play football, yeah, build a nice build-up play.
as you can see behind me, preparations are still ongoing for the game, and thank you to some of the members of the Supporters Trust for helping to put up some of your faces in the crowd here in the Big Bank. And it was at this end that Jake Taylor scored 2 of his 3 goals this week. Here he is answering some of your questions that you put to him during the week.
So I'm going to move on to the fan questions. And first off, I've got one from a cheeky rascal named Scott Palfrey, who says, when is the hair coming off, Jake?
He's probably one of many who continually mock me about my hairline. I think I'm pretty used to it by now. To be fair, all along I said I want to get married, and obviously you pay a lot of money for a photographer at the wedding, so I wanted to sort of have a full head of hair at that point. So now the wedding's out of the way, I don't really have an excuse. So I don't know whether we can sort of raise some money for charity and shave it off or something like that. I'm sure Scott, the media man, will look into that for me, but it's I've been hanging on for a while now. Maybe it's time to shave it off.
I think you might have just dropped an idea there with the fundraiser. I'm sure he'll be in
I'm
touch.
sure he will.
Yeah. I'll move now on to the more professional questions, of course. And at Morgan ECFC, what's your favourite part about playing for Exeter?
I think the group of boys we've got down here is fantastic. Everyone, you enjoy going into training every day, whether it's a match day or during the week. It's a great place to be. You're around lots of positive people who really get on well with each other, whether that's players, staff, fans and stuff like that. So it's just an enjoyable place to be, and somewhere that you can really work hard and sort of strive to be as good as you can. So that's probably my main reason. Yeah.
That's superb. It's great club to be at on all fronts. I think I couldn't agree more. Yeah. Jake at JL1901, he said, it's quite an interesting one, this one. He said, do you search your own name on Twitter or on social media after games?
Yeah, I don't personally. It's probably for the best that I don't sometimes. I think social media can be really good at times or really bad at times. It depends, how it affects you. Personally, I don't really try and read into too much stuff like that. But obviously there are players out there who do. It's each to their own. But for me, if I've had a good game, I might do. If I haven't had my best games, I probably stay clear of it for a little bit.
There was someone else. That's fair. I think there was someone else on there that apologised for anything they might have said to you.
Apology accepted. I'm quite thick-skinned, so I'm okay.
Top man, we'll pass that on. Another good question from a guy called Rick Logan, who you might have heard of. He says, was Richard Logan one of the best strikers that you played with at Exeter? He's put a laughing emoji at the end of that, but
he's not joking. He thinks he was for sure. To be fair, I probably caught Logie at the without sounding rude, probably the back end of his career. So he obviously did fantastic things for this club. He's definitely a legend down here. He really helped me settle in as well. He was, a good friend to me. But yeah, he was definitely a fantastic player for this club. And obviously the important goals he scored will sort of never be forgotten here. And he's a good guy that goes along with it. So yeah, there you go, Logie. I've said something nice about you for the first time ever.
And it's on record as well. So
yeah, exactly.
Hopefully appreciates that.
There you go.
Brad Fearbold says, what has been the best wow moment at Exeter City whilst being on the pitch, apart from playing with Logie, of course?
Good question. I think it has to be probably when Jack Stacey scored against Carlisle in the playoff semis. I think we were all pretty dead on our feet, and then probably the fittest player I've ever played with seems to pick the ball up with the most energy and smack it in the top corner. I think that was a whirlwind day for me as well. I think my daughter was born a couple of weeks before then, so it was a crazy time. And then obviously going to Wembley and off the back of Jack's fantastic goal, I'll never forget that evening, and the stadium that day was definitely a moment that will live with me forever for sure.
You can't forget that one, can you? It's kind of poetic. I think it was the last game for the old grandstand as well. So
it was.
Grandstand finish.
I think Tiz was running up the side, wasn't he, celebrating? That'll stick with me as well. But yeah, that was definitely a fantastic moment. I think I turned around in like shock after he did it. I don't know whether you've watched they play the goal like the Titanic music. I think I've seen that before. And
yeah,
then,
that's class.
that's enjoyable. And then I'm just turned to, I think my dad's in the crowd. I'm just in shock that we've actually done it, because I think we threw the lead away a few times in that game. So it was nice to score late, and for it to be too late for them to come up and score again, unfortunately.
It's safe to say it was a roller coaster. I don't blame you. I
They
think
were-
I was in shock.
they were
on
crazy
Big Break
games.
as well. To be fair, it was
Yeah.
absolute pandemonium. It was amazing. A classic question from Josh Milton, and always a good one. What is your favourite goal in a City shirt?
I think probably Barnet a few years ago. I think Scott likes playing it whenever he interviews me. I think that's my go-to goal. It was one of my better strikes, that's for sure. So it would have to be that one. Yeah,
It's a hit, isn't it? That is a hit.
it was. Yeah, that was probably the nicest I've ever struck a ball, and thankfully it was on a match day. Someone was filming it, which I can always show the grandkids that I can actually do it.
There you go, mate. The proof, more proof of the film there for you. It's handy, isn't it?
Yeah,
Owen
exactly.
Courtney, Owen Courtney 6. Just want to know who has the worst shoes.
The worst shoes.
It's hard to have the worst shoes, surely.
I know that Lewis Ward gets a bit of stick about his shoes. I know he's been on here a few times about matching his clothes to his tracksuit, to his kit and his gloves. So he wears like a pair of red and black Jordans, I think they are, to match the tracksuit, and they just don't look very good. So I'd have to say Wardy's shoes aren't great.
I thought Wardy was going to get that. He's just a coordinated guy. He was on here the other week saying that. He's just
Lovely guy, but just too coordinated for my liking.
Bless him, not your style. Another stylish individual, I guess. Jordan Freeman, 2000. What was it like playing for Wales with Gareth Bale? Obviously, and I checked to get your game against Andorra. You sharing the pitch with Bale. I mean, how was it sharing with the pitch with Gareth, and also sort of how amazing was that?
Yeah, it was a great experience for me. Obviously, playing, I only played 10 minutes for my country, but to be able to share a pitch with a player who is one of the best players in the world, one of the most expensive players in the world, was obviously a great experience. Being away with the squad, and obviously him being there was obviously another great milestone for me in my career. So something I definitely look back with and hold at high regards for me personally. So, but yeah, they're all just normal, nice people. It was just like going away with Exeter sort of thing. So it was no difference. There's sort of no egos, anything with that Welsh squad. Everyone seemed to get on really well, which I think that's probably why they succeeded so much in that competition as well. They were just all good friends who have grown up together and obviously going through different challenges at the same time, and seem to reap the rewards off the back of it.
Yeah, it's definitely that kind of harmony in that group there. You could feel that, and on the basis of harmony, my final question is another one from a rascal from the media team. Craig Bratt would like to know, when are you going to apologise for laughing at him after scoring against Crawley?
Do you know what it was? I think he turned up at our training ground wearing a Crawley face mask, and as soon as I saw that, he went down in my estimation slightly, and then obviously got to know him a little bit better, and he seems like a really nice bloke, but scoring against Crawley was a nice feeling, and to rub it into for him a little bit was even better. So as long as I never see that Crawley face mask at Exeter again, I'll be a happy man.
I'll pass that on. I think that's good advice, Jake, to be honest. That's all of the questions for today. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us. Congratulations,
no problem.
Once again, mate. Absolutely brilliant, and made up for you, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you very much. No problem at all.
As ever, we love to hear from the fans on your Exeter City journey. Here, giving his thoughts on all things City, is our overseas Grecian in Copenhagen.
Also, Billy, thank you for joining me all the way from Copenhagen, Denmark. Just let me first ask you, how did your Exeter City journey begin?
It was a bit of an unusual one for me because I was being brought up in London. So my dad's side of the family is from Exeter. So I know his dad used to go, age 7, he used to go on his own to all the games at St James Park. But since a kid, my dad's always taken me and my brother. I remember being mascot when I was about 8 years old, back when days of Steve Flack and Kwame Ampadu. But yeah, ever since then, I've gone to as many games as I can. Obviously, living in London, I can't go to all of them, so I'd often just listen to the commentary. But yeah, living in Copenhagen now, obviously I can't go to any games, no one can, but I still follow them on the iFollow and that. So yeah, that's my story.
And how has it been for you watching from overseas? I presume you've been watching as many of the games as you can?
Yeah, I've watched everyone. So obviously when you're overseas, regardless of what's going on with the lockdown, I would have been able to, if I get the package, I can watch all the games. And I've loved it. Obviously the results have helped, but like it's been such a luxury to be able to watch all of the Exeter games. Coming from previously having to listen to them, which I personally found really frustrating, having to listen to radio commentary. It's been a massive luxury being able to watch it here.
And what's been some of your favourite memories following Exeter on the radio and on iPhone?
So haven't got much to choose from, but I think the Fisher goal would probably be the highlight from this year. From listening, unfortunately, I didn't get to go to the game where we beat Plymouth 2-1. And I remember hearing about the Watkins goal through the radio and just going crazy, especially because they'd started with the win. So they've really been my highlights so far on the iFollow, yeah.
And over in Copenhagen, have you got any friends and things? Have you got them on board with the Exeter City yet?
So I've tried to. So the first game we had was the EFL Cup. And I got my Swedish and American friends come around to watch it. I was like, it's going to be great. And iFollow doesn't cover the EFL Cup. So I tried to set up my laptop. I was trying for like 20 minutes to get it to work. And obviously we couldn't watch it. So they haven't been back since, unfortunately. But I know there is another guy in Copenhagen that watches via iFollow. We've got a mutual friend, but we haven't met up yet. So yeah, hopefully that'll happen.
And that you've been able to do that in Denmark when you're allowed to meet up. How's it been with the coronavirus out there?
Yeah, I mean, when I came here, there weren't many restrictions, but like the UK, we've just had a second big wave. It's not quite as strict as the UK, I don't think. So we can still go to other people's houses. I think it's a maximum people of 10. I play on a football team that was usually 8-a-side, and now it's been changed to 5-a-side, and you kind of got to stick to your teams. So it's pretty similar to the UK. Yeah, like at 10 p.m. pubs close as well, but it's not quite strict, I don't think.
What have you made of Exeter City start to the season then?
I've been really pleasantly surprised, to be honest. I mean, coming into the season, it looked like, Randall Williams going was just a done deal. And you think, like, how many goals came from him doing his thing last season? I was thinking, it's not going to be our season. And then obviously the deal doesn't happen, out of nowhere. Key and Randall, start playing the way they've been doing. And it's been really impressive. I mean, down both of those wings, with Caprice and what's his name, Page. I think we've created a lot of chances. And if you were to tell me that last season that Law wouldn't get in the squad, I'd be very surprised. So it's going well so far.
And I think, we've all been impressed by Matt J as well. I imagine he's another one that you like look off.
Absolutely, coming through. He's looked, really skillful. He looks like he's created a lot. I think he's going to get a lot of goals this season. Yeah, him and Collins. It's just great to see so many academy players actually making a big difference. I mean, we've had a great academy for a while now, but I can't really remember so many academy players making such a big difference to the team as it is now. So it's really fun to watch.
And I imagine, a bit like everywhere else in Europe, that they're quite big on the Premier League. So, I mean, have they had the Aston Villa games on TV and you've sort of, that's Ollie, he's from my team?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So a lot of them know about Watkins. I was surprised how big Premier League is. I mean, for the football team I play for, it's mainly English football shirts. I'd expect it to be like FC Copenhagen and all of that. But surprisingly, there's a lot of Liverpool fans out here actually, but not so many Exeter.
And do you wear a City shirt to play?
Yeah. I've got two, and I rotate them. Yeah.
Do you wear them sort of just around daily life, around the city, or do you get any funny looks wondering who they are?
Absolutely, yeah. I wear them as much as I can. I think people are just a bit confused because, like the concept of supporting a team in the 4th tier is people don't really understand it, and they're not sure if I'm joking or not. But people are really interested in it. So I'll try and wear it as much as I can.
I want to have a chat with you about the game itself on Saturday against Carlisle. I mean, what are you expecting from that one? Obviously, I presume you'll be watching. Yeah,
I'll definitely be watching. They're in really good form, so I think it's going to be a tough one. I mean, I think if we can go into the game like how we finished the second half against Leyton Orient, I think we've got a good chance. We were creating so much during that game. I think we've got a chance. I think we've conceded a lot, but we've conceded consistently. So I think we probably will concede, but I think there's no reason if we don't go into it how we came out with the last game. I think we could get a win. Yeah.
Do you want to take a punt on a score prediction?
Okay. I know it's a boring answer. I'm pretty conservative, but I'm going to go with 2-1. I think we'll concede, but I think I'll go with a Bowman and a Randall goal. Yeah.
Win's a win at the end of the day.
I'll take anything. Yeah.
And have you been, when you're following it, do you keep up to date with the social media? Have you been seeing the goal gifs and things?
Yeah, obviously the Hartridge one. I mean, all of my WhatsApp groups were kicking off about that, which was quite funny. I saw it on, I think I was on Have I Got News For You as well.
It was, yeah.
Which is, I mean, I suppose like any coverage is good coverage for us. So, that was quite funny. But yeah, all the stuff you media guys have been doing has been really enjoyable. I mean, during the lockdown, the interviews you did with the ex-players like Wheeler and Watkins and Stockley, it's a really sort of enjoyable thing because I mean, the social media stuff has it's really grown in the last few years. And I think one of the negatives about supporting a Football League team is you just don't get that coverage. I was always jealous of my friends who supported Chelsea and Arsenal who'd get to watch every game, then they get match of the day in the evening, whereas Exeter, 10 years ago, it would just be like 10 seconds on the Football League show at 11 p.m. So, I've enjoyed it a lot.
Is it a lot more important to you to have that, especially being overseas, to have that social media and the ability to watch it?
Yeah, absolutely. And, being brought up in London as well, I mean, I don't know that many City fans. I've got my family, my cousins, my dad and brother. But obviously I don't have the same network in Exeter to kind of interact with all of that. So yeah, for me, it makes a huge difference. And as I said, like the iFollow has been a huge, a really nice thing to do when you're in a foreign country. Yeah.
I suppose this next one's a difficult one to answer because, I mean, who knows? But I mean, I presume when things are back to some sort of normality, you'll be planning the trip back to watch them when we're allowed in. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I would have gone to, there's quite a few that I would have liked to have gone to this season. And I've still got family in Exeter, so I would have loved to do the trips at St James Park. I mean, watching back some of the videos and just seeing as many people as we get in the Big Bank, it's just crazy to think right now. So I do miss it a lot. And usually Christmas would be a time where, because I'd have time off and that, I go to quite a few games. So don't know when it will be, but I will be coming back when I'm allowed. It is really sad to see the Big Bank so empty. It is. But I mean, we've got the faces in the crowd going up this week ahead of Saturday. Have you got one of those? No, I don't have one of those, unfortunately. I don't. It is quite funny to see. No, I've just got my face behind the TV this season. Well, I think there's still time. We could get you one. The Danish run, why not? Okay, I'll be up for that. Billy, thank you so much for joining me all the way from Copenhagen. Lovely. Cheers. Hope you enjoy the game on Saturday. Yes, fingers crossed.
Thank you so much for joining us. That is all for today's Park Life. You know the drill by now. For as long as you can't join us in human form, only in cardboard form, you can pick up a match pass for today's game, £10 on the website. Season ticket holders, you know you've got your code, everything like that. You know how it works by now. You can also follow the game on social media. There's one last thing to say. Come on, City!